is reporting that Biden is now confiding in key allies that his performances in upcoming public appearances, like he has this interview scheduled Friday with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, those appearances have to go well, or else he may not be able to keep going. They say he realizes that. But if the president were to stay in the race, think about it, it's hard to imagine a presidential election with two candidates that are so unappealing to so much of the nation. I mean, today's Wall Street Journal poll that we referenced also found that 47% of Americans would like to see both candidates replaced this fall. So if this really ends up being our choice, have we reached a new low in this country? Has it legitimately become dangerous in this country? It's not just Biden. We're talking obviously about Biden tonight, but Donald Trump, he lost a free and fair election, tried to overturn that free and fair election. Now he wants to be president again. So that's not exactly, the most American thing in the world. Joe Biden, as we've been talking about, faces enormous questions about his ability to do the job right now. Never mind another 4 years when he'd be 86. So is this our worst ever election choice? Quite a question to begin with tonight as we bring in Stephen L. Miller, contributing editor at The Spectator, host of the Versus Media podcast. And also with us is Cenk Uygur, the founder, co-host of the Young Turks, ran for president as a Democrat in 2024 against President Biden. We thank you both for coming on. Cenk, I can start with you. I mean, for it to be the worst choice, obviously it has to be the choice. So the way things are playing out here, what do you see happening? What do you think will happen? Will President Biden eventually give in and step aside?
Yeah, I think Biden's done.
Okay.
I made an official prediction this morning saying that there's no way he can recover. So let's talk about a couple of stats that leave me completely convinced. Number one, as you pointed out, he's down 6 points in the New York Times poll. But you have to remember a Democratic candidate has to win by 5 points in order to win the Electoral College. So he's down 11 points. Does anybody think Joe Biden has a miraculous 11-point comeback in him? Nobody thinks that. Number two, we're being kind by saying 80% of Americans think he has mental and cognitive health problems. Another way of saying that is that 80% of Americans don't think his brain is working. So what are we going to do? We're going to win an election when 80% of Americans don't think your brain is working right? There's a 0% chance he's going to win. There's no chance at all. If you want Joe Biden to stay in the race, what you're saying is, I don't mind losing to Donald Trump at all. And last number for you is, an incumbent in the 40s is in deep, deep trouble. He's in the 30s. He's at 36%. And at the federal level, an incumbent in the 30s has never won. Never. And Joe Biden is going to be the miracle comeback that pulls off the biggest comeback from behind victory in history. Never going to happen. So right now, there's only one candidate in the race. It's Trump. And that's a disaster for the Democrats.
Now, the interesting thing about it, obviously, the speculation would be that he would pass it off to his vice president. That's what seems to be the conventional wisdom if it exists tonight. It might have been different a few days ago. Maybe people would have said Gavin Newsom would be more likely. You're talking about favorability. Her favorability hadn't been that high. But, Stephen, looking at these polls, I've actually been surprised myself the last few days to see that she holds up better than you might think against Trump. What about a Kamala Harris-Donald Trump matchup? And do you agree with Cenk that that's the way that we're going here?
Yeah, I know you bring on someone from the left and the right to be contentious with each other, but for here, I'm not going to be contentious because I agree with everything he pretty much just said.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be tonight. That's the way the week's going, right? That's the way the week's going.
We're pretty much right in tune here. And yeah, and like you said, the CNN New York Times poll that saw 74% of voters don't think that he is fit to serve for another term, that's combined of both Democrats and Republicans. And so everybody loves the idea of the backup quarterback before the backup quarterback gets put in there. But there was that internal polling leak from Puck News that showed that effectively Biden stays on the ticket. He moves several blue states into swing state territory: Colorado, Minnesota, Michigan, Virginia. And Kamala Harris, for whatever you guys like me or whoever think about her, she is a solid Democrat. She is obviously younger, able, and she will move those states most likely right back into the blue column. And we could be looking at a map similar to 2020 where all Trump has to do is, step on his tongue again and lose Georgia. And so I'm with Cenk on this. I think this is all just planning the funeral at this point. And there's not going to be a mini primary. It's not going to be Gavin Newsom. It's not going to be Hillary Clinton or Michelle Obama. It will be Kamala Harris. And then, that also effectively could wipe out Trump's advantage on a VP ticket because obviously, Kamala is someone who's struggled in debates in the past. And so if she's the top of the ticket, you're looking at possibly someone like a Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania or Brashear in Kentucky. And that kind of erases any kind of advantage. Yeah, that kind of, erases kind of any advantage that, Trump might have with his VP pick.
Yeah, that's why Trump's been kind of lying low this week, I think. Is, he did rather see, obviously.
Yeah, whichever presidential advisor has put Trump in a panic room and taken away, put with duct tape, they deserve the campaign manager of the decade.
Yeah, just got a few Truth Social posts. That's about it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.